So if we look at a sagittal deadlift, okay, we go straight up and down. The frontal plane moves us into AB and AD duction, or lateral flexion. My hips, abduction and adduction, and my knees and my feet and ankles as well, invert and evert. And when we look at a transverse plane, we have to get into rotation. And anything that you're lifting in the transverse plane kind of automatically ticks the box for the sagittal plane and the frontal plane at the same time. So I'll use my right side as an example on this. Okay, everything is split and everything is equal as I do this sagittal deadlift. But if the bag seems to be off center slightly and I want to shift into position, I'm going to use a diagonal deadlift to take hold of the bag and pick it up safely, back flat, feet flat, etc. This is a safe exercise to perform, and yes, my knees are doing different things and the weight is distributed slightly unevenly, but that's good for the knees. Your knees will give you a warning when they go too far, so listen to the knees for that threshold. But for me, this range of motion from my knees is nice. It's needed. And the transverse plane, you start with the bag parallel to the foot outside of the body. So I'm going to hinge, so I've got the sagittal plane, I've got flexion. As I shift my weight to the right, my pelvis is tilting to my femur, so I've got adduction of this hip and slight abduction of that hip because it's coming away from the femur. And then I rotate into position. So I'm collapsing my pelvis onto my femur, rotating my knee, tib, fib. My foot is staying planted to the floor, so it's giving me a nice arch in this foot, whilst this foot collapses in to enable that to happen. And then I drive it up safely through the transverse plane in a deadlift that we all know and love. Back through the heels, core engaged, shoulders back, into a transverse deadlift or twisting deadlift. Give them a go.